everyone, I'm Kenzie and welcome back to the Overnight Mom YouTube channel. I've had a few subscribers contact me with some questions regarding stepmom life. And one question that seems to come up a lot is how I knew during the dating phase whether or not I should marry somebody who had a kid, and basically my thought process and stuff like that. So I figured I would make a video to address the topic. And also people wonder sometimes from a Catholic perspective, should you date or marry somebody with children? So hopefully this gives you a little bit of insight into my thoughts on the topic. So if you were to ask me years ago if I ever thought I would marry somebody who already had children, I would tell you absolutely no way, 100%. And side note, honestly, I don't think any step parent really sat there when they were a child and said, oh, I just can't wait, I hope I'm a step parent one day. Nobody says that. They want their own biological children. So being a step parent really isn't something glamorous that people aspire for, right? So how did it happen to me? What was my thought process in the dating phase? By the way, I have my son on my lap here, so if you see me looking down, I'm just trying to get him to fall asleep. I met my husband through church, actually. We both were on the core team for a Life Teen program through our church. So through that, I knew he was Catholic, I knew he had good morals and values, I knew he had a daughter because he brought her to different events and talked about her and everything, but I didn't know his full situation. So over time, we got to know each other and I realized he was single, but I still didn't know the full thing of how he had a daughter. So in his situation, he had never been married, and then he had a daughter and had primary custody of her. So since he had never been married, there was no reason that anything about us getting married would disagree with the church teaching on marriage or anything like that, because he hadn't been divorced, hadn't been annulled, or any of those additional complications that some blended families may have. So anyway, when I started gaining interest in my husband when we were dating, I kept thinking to myself, well, he has a daughter, like I can't date him. In fact, I even remember telling a few family members about this and just saying, yeah, there's this guy, I really like him, but he has a daughter. And they always said, well, at least you will know what he's like as a parent before you get married to him. And I thought, yeah, you know, that's true, but still, I don't know if I can deal with that. And as time went on, two things happened. Number one, when I look back, everything just flowed so naturally, so seamlessly, that it really didn't feel like I was making this giant decision about dating somebody with a child. But also, when the thoughts did come into my mind about, okay, can I handle marrying somebody with a kid? Can I be a stepmom? How can I do this? You know, all those thoughts of confusion and uncertainty. What I did, and what I did the whole time in the dating phase with my husband, is I fully placed my trust and those concerns that I had in God's hands. And I genuinely and fully let the Lord take care of it. Sounds cheesy, I know, but that's what I did. Because for me, when problems are so big, or concepts or things in my life are so big that I'm not sure if I can handle them, I just have to place them on the Lord and not myself, because I can't handle anything. I know that, and I know He can handle everything, and He's not going to put me in a situation to harm me or cause me grief or anxiety or pain. And so I just trusted in Him that, you know, if this relationship is what He wants for me, keep it going, make it right, make it fall into place. And if not, be very clear about showing that to me, and also be clear in my heart about being okay with letting it go if it's not what I'm supposed to be in. So really, it was a matter of full and total trust in God. Full and total, not just saying, oh yeah, I trust in you, but really genuinely trusting. So I got married, and it has not been easy. And I obviously, there's a reason that the preferred way and God's way of designing in His plan for marriage is for it to be between a husband and wife and their children together, is because that is just a lot easier. It really is. And although there's beauty in the blended family, and my family is so beautiful and so loving and so fruitful and so fulfilling, it's definitely more challenging. And it's definitely clear to me why, when families and people follow God's commands, things are so much better. So with that said, obviously my husband had a child and was not married. And I think a lot of times people in those situations think that, they're damaged or that they can't change because they already have a kid and so, whatever. So with that said, my husband was truly a new person. And he was very committed to following the church teachings, the teachings of the Bible, and we were pure in our relationship the whole time we were dating. And we saved everything till our wedding night, and we just did all the right things. And he was such a kind and loving man to me when we were dating. He never referred to things about my body ever. I can't even think of times where he said anything or was inappropriate toward me. Everything was just so genuine and kind. And, it wasn't easy to remain chaste, but we did it. So I think that is why now being married, things have gone the way they have gone. And we've been able to see such beautiful, life-giving, fruitful things as a result of our marriage because we have followed Christ's commands in our marriage. And not saying we're perfect people in the big scheme of things, but we did. We did the right things, and I think because of that, this transition into blended family life worked the way it has. Another thing we did is we didn't live together before we got married, and I think a lot of times people think, well, we already have this kid, or you know what, we should just see what it's like for the three of us to live together before we get married. But we didn't do that. And I think it was very important that we didn't do that. Now, I will say when we did all three live together at first, and even now, it was an adjustment, and it is an adjustment because we're all three sharing the same bathroom. Let's just throw that out there. It's difficult, okay, to be a stepmom, sharing a bathroom with a new husband and a stepchild. Ladies, do you understand? But part of that struggle has brought us closer together and made our family life so much more beautiful. And now we have two little handsome additions to the fam. So if you're dating somebody and they have kids, or you're not sure if you should date somebody with kids, few things. Number one, and the most important thing, is pray about it and fully trust God with that relationship and with the direction that relationship is going. Pray individually and pray together. We prayed together every single night before we'd leave each other or before we got off the phone. And that was just a great source of strength for us in our relationship, and it continues to be. Next thing I would recommend is just making sure that you are following the teachings of the church. If the person with the children was previously married, figuring out what the cause of divorce was, if they got an annulment, and if they didn't, that's probably a sign you should let go. If they're separated but not divorced, that's a sign, stay away, and if the person is following church teachings, Christ's commands, the teachings of the Bible, and they're not hiding things, you're probably going to be okay. But unfortunately, in some circumstances, people have stuff to hide. They're just, not living right, or, I'd also be very cautious. One verse I'd like to refer to is the one, beware of a wolf in sheep's clothing, who come to you, who look like sheep, but inside they're ravenous wolves, something like that. You know what I'm talking about, right? But then it goes on to say, you will know them by their fruits. And that's the key. If somebody has kids, it's definitely a red flag of, okay, alert, let's really look into this person. And if you're wondering, okay, well, how do I know? Is this somebody who's changed? Is this somebody who's good? Is this somebody who's right for me? Well, how do I know? By their fruits. And fruits, what are they doing? Are they living a virtuous life? Have they followed the process to, maybe if they needed to get an annulment for whatever reason. If they were never married, then they were never married. But with that said, what are their actions showing? Are they being respectful to you? Are they giving in to temptations? Are they saying, well, I already failed, or I already have a kid, or I already have this, or already did that, so therefore I'm exempt? If they're playing the exempt card, that's a sign not very good fruit. Be watchful of that, absolutely. It sounds a little bit trite, but prayer really is the biggest thing, and trust in the Lord and being open to whatever His plan is for you. So those are some of my thoughts. If you have additional questions or things you want me to cover, I would love to hear them. Make sure you leave a comment. And make sure you subscribe if you like to see little babies in videos. And as always, I thank you for watching.